Hi everyone, and it's another video in the Guides Guide 2 series. Today we're at a very familiar venue, but at a brand new lake. So we're at Anglers Paradise in Devon, and this lake in front of me is the newly opened Easy Catfish Lake. 5 swims in total. I'll walk you around most of them in a minute. But in true Anglers Paradise style, let's start with the fact it's got a lovely big pagoda shelter. Priority for disabled anglers for the use of this one. But if it's not in use, you're welcome to use it. Looks a great place to stash all your gear away. Rods out the front there. I would say out the weather, but of course, as Zig famously says, it never rains in Devon. It's purely liquid sunshine, so that won't be a concern, I'm sure. So let's have a quick look around the lake, talk about the stock of fish, the tactics and so on that might work on here. First things first, you'll see there's an inlet pipe there. I walked around here at first light this morning and there was a lot of little rudd and orf around that pipe. The catfish will quickly got onto that, so I'm guessing that will be a decent spot in time as well. You'll notice in this corner here, you can see the top, even though it's still early in the year, it's late March as we're filming this. You can see fish topping here, in fact, and bits of weed coming up. So this is a shallow corner here. So from roughly halfway along that bank or in line with the island, diagonally across to here, you've got quite a shallow ledge. And I bet when all these cats really wake up, the rudd and the orf will be trying to use that weed for cover and the cats will be getting in there. So definitely an area that will be worth a look. And in fact, the 2 people that I've been guiding on one of the other lakes this weekend, they fished that swim 2 days ago and they had 2 catfish and were only on here for a few hours. So both out of that corner. So that bodes really well. Great thing about this particular lake, we've got a lovely flat path all the way around the lake. So if you're coming down from your accommodation just beyond the tree line there, that's easy access there, accommodation behind. You've got the path all the way down and all the way around the lake. So if you're bringing your stuff down on your barrow or your trolley, it's a nice easy walk. So let's talk about the stock of fish within this lake. So I mentioned the fact there's some little orf and rudd. They're not in here necessarily to be fished for. That's purely food for the several hundred catfish that are in here, which range in size from a few ounces all the way through to 25 pounds. So what's this lake all about? This is the lake for you if you haven't caught a catfish before or want to learn the methods to fish for catfish. It's absolutely made for it with such a big stock of fish in a relatively small lake. Once again, Anglers Paradise well ahead of the curve with this one, because I've not heard of a catfish lake with this level of stock in such a small venue before. It is pretty much a runs water for catfish. So yeah, something very different to a lot of waters where you might have to sit there for days and nights to try and catch a big catfish. And use very heavy specialist tackle because of the size of the fish. This is catfishing at its most accessible. So as we come away from that end of the lake where the pagoda shelter and the inlet pipe is, the water slowly deepens off. You'll notice the swims are all hard standing, so absolutely great. We know obviously due to the nature of the land here, it can get a bit boggy at times, but you've got these nice hard standings to set up on. If you're thinking about fishing on the bottom with a bite alarm or whatever, that may mean that you want to think about bringing your rod pod. So if we continue along the path here, we're starting to make our way down towards the deeper end here. So how do we know this is the deeper end of the lake? As you can see, we've got the outlet there. So in any of the lakes here at Anglers Paradise, wherever you see that outlet, that's the deepest area of the lake. So good head start before you need to go crashing around with marker floats and leads and whatever else. So again, nice hard standing swim, loads to go out here. You've got the corner of the lake with the wind blowing nicely in there today. These margins look tasty. The outlet, the corner of the island, loads to go at. As I said, the lake is brand new. It's been open a couple of weeks. It's late March, maybe not the best time for catfishing, but I've had a little go myself today. I don't think the pegs are numbered yet. I'm over in that one. So at the deep end of the lake, furthest along from the pagoda shelter, I've been fishing about 2.5 hours this afternoon. I've opted for popped up lobworms, so a light semi-fixed lead, so like a safety clip type setup with a 1 ounce lead, and I've been fishing lobworms popped up with a piece of foam about 8 or 10 inches off the bottom. Reason I went for that is, one, I didn't want to be piling lots of bait in at this time of year because I didn't think the fish would respond to that while the water temperatures are still low. And two, that's a great method where you can cast it out and then maybe bring it back a few feet every few minutes to try and find where the catfish are. I'll be quite honest with you, first cast, I was trying to clip the bobbin on and it was already away. And that was a fish of about 6 or 7 pounds. And it's carried on like that since. I've probably had 8 or 10 chances in 2.5 hours. I've landed 6 of those, missed and lost a couple as well. It's been absolute carnage. I've started off with 2 rods. You probably don't need 2 rods on here. One's probably enough. Other methods to try, obviously the lake is brand new, so I'm speculating a little bit here, but based on my knowledge of fishing for catfish and also from the other lakes here at Anglers Paradise, I would suggest meat would be very good. Pellets and boilies also. I don't think you're going to need to use really heavy gear. I've opted for £3 Tesco rods, £15 line. No problem landing those fish, and like I say, the fish go to £25 in here, so I think that type of gear would be about right. Float fishing will work as well, and I would also hazard a guess that once it warms up a little bit and those cats get active, pellet waggler would definitely work. Method feeder, that type of thing. I don't think you really want to fish that dissimilar to how you would fish on a water with an equivalent stock of carp. These fish are going to be hungry and those methods are all going to work, but you might just want to go a little bit heavier than you would if you were fishing like a commercial carp type water, due to the power of these fish, and always remembering obviously to use a strong coated hook link to meet the fishery rules and to obviously avoid doing any damage to them. So a great addition to the residence complex here at Anglers Paradise. I think this is going to be very, very popular. So if you are here on a summer holiday this year, do make sure that you get yourself booked in for a day, because like I say, whether it's bringing your kids down here to catch their first catfish or exploring different ways of catching them yourself, this is going to be an absolutely brilliant little lake. If you are down here this year as well and you want a guided trip, obviously do feel free to get in contact beforehand. I'll be around here for a lot of the summer guiding residents, hopefully to the fish of their dreams. Hope to see you down here.